The elevator doors opened to my penthouse floor with their usual whisper quiet precision, and I stepped into the marble lined hallway carrying my laptop bag and a bottle of champagne. 3 days in Seattle had landed me the biggest tech consulting contract of my career, $2 million over 18 months. I couldn't wait to tell Emily. I slipped my key into the lock as quietly as possible, planning to surprise her. The champagne was her favorite vintage, and I'd already mentally rehearsed how I'd announce the news. Maybe we could finally take that trip to Italy she'd been posting about on Instagram for months. But as I pushed open the door, I heard Emily's voice echoing from the living room, sharp and animated. She was on one of her video calls with the girls, Shayla, Kendra, and Elise. Her laptop was positioned on the coffee table, and I could hear every word through the speakers. I mean, I love Nick, I really do, Emily was saying, her voice carrying that particular tone she used when she was about to say something she knew she shouldn't. But honestly, girls, he's only 5'10", on a good day. I need a man who's 6'4", you know? Someone who can actually make me feel small when I'm wearing heels. I froze in the entryway, my hand still on the doorknob. The champagne bottle suddenly felt impossibly heavy. Shayla's laugh crackled through the speakers. Girl, you're terrible. But I totally get it. There's something about a tall man that just makes you feel more feminine, you know? Exactly. Emily's voice got more animated. And don't even get me started on the bedroom situation. I need someone who can actually throw me around a little, if you know what I mean. Nick tries, but it's like being manhandled by a teenager. Kendra chimed in, so what are you going to do? You can't exactly return him for a taller model. Emily's laugh was the sound that had made me fall in love with her 4 years ago. Now it felt like broken glass. I don't know, I mean, the penthouse is nice and he makes good money. I guess I'm just settling until someone better comes along. Someone who actually looks like a man standing next to me. I stood there for what felt like an hour, but was probably only 30 seconds, processing what I'd just heard. The champagne bottle slipped from my fingers and hit the marble floor with a sharp crack. Not quite breaking, but loud enough to echo through the apartment. Nick, Emily called out, her voice suddenly nervous. Baby, is that you? I walked into the living room where Emily was sitting cross-legged on our white leather sofa in her workout clothes, her laptop open in front of her. Her three friends were visible on the screen, their faces frozen in various expressions of horror as they realized I'd been listening. Hey, honey, Emily said, her voice artificially bright. You're home early. How was Seattle? I looked at her, really looked at her, the woman I'd been planning to propose to next month. The woman whose gym membership I paid for, whose car I'd bought, whose entire lifestyle I funded while she built her Instagram following and personal training business. Don't settle, I said quietly. What? You said you were settling until someone better comes along. Well, don't. I pulled out my phone and started recording a voice memo. Emily, I heard everything you just said to your friends. About my height, about settling, about needing a real man. So here's what's going to happen. Emily's face went white. On the laptop screen, I could see Shayla frantically trying to end the call, but Emily seemed frozen. I'm going to pack your things, I continued, my voice steady despite the fact that my hands were shaking. All of them. And then I'm going to drive you wherever you want to go. But it won't be back here. Ever. Nick, please, I didn't mean... You meant every word. I stopped the recording and pocketed my phone. Give me 20 minutes. I walked to our bedroom, my bedroom now, and pulled out the matching luggage set I'd bought Emily for her birthday. Designer, of course. Everything had to be perfect for her Instagram photos. As I packed her clothes, I could hear her on the phone with someone, her voice high and desperate. Shayla, what do I do? I can't afford my own place right now. The gym isn't making enough money yet, and all my savings went into that equipment. I methodically folded her workout clothes, her designer dresses, her collection of heels that made her tower over me at events. Each item felt like evidence of my own stupidity. How long had she felt this way? How many times had she complained about me to her friends while I was working 16-hour days to pay for her lifestyle? When I emerged with the suitcases, Emily was sitting on the edge of the sofa, her phone clutched in her hands. She'd been crying, her carefully applied makeup streaking down her cheeks. Where am I supposed to go? she asked. That's not my problem anymore. I set the bags by the door, but I have a suggestion. 20 minutes later, I was driving my Tesla through the rain toward the south side of the city, Emily silent in the passenger seat. She'd called her friend Marcus, a fitness influencer she'd been collaborating with lately on workout videos. He lived in a trailer park behind a strip mall, which seemed fitting. When we pulled up to the rusted gate of Sunset Mobile Home Community, Emily finally spoke. Nick, please. Can we talk about this? I was just venting to my friends. I didn't mean it. You meant it. I got out and retrieved her bags from the trunk. Marcus lives in number 47, right? The one with the lifted truck? Emily's face told me everything I needed to know. Marcus answered the door in a tank top and basketball shorts, his 6'4" frame filling the doorway. He was exactly what Emily had described wanting, tall, muscular, with the kind of chiseled jaw that photographed well for social media. Emily, what's going on? His eyes moved from her tear-streaked face to me, standing behind her with the luggage. Congratulations, I said, setting the bags down on his tiny porch. You're now responsible for housing someone who thinks 5'10" isn't tall enough. Hope your trailer has high ceilings. As I drove away, I could see Emily in my rearview mirror, standing in the rain in her designer workout clothes, looking completely out of place among the rusted trailers and broken-down cars. My phone buzzed with a text from her before I'd even reached the highway. Please come back. We need to talk. I deleted it without responding. The next morning, I woke up to 47 missed calls and 312 text messages. My phone had been buzzing all night, but I'd turned off the sound and slept better than I had in months. The first text was from my friend Jason. Dude, you need to see this. Call me ASAP. I made coffee and scrolled through the messages. Most were from numbers I didn't recognize, but mixed in were texts from Emily, increasingly desperate. Nick, please answer your phone. I made a mistake. Can we please talk? Shayla posted something. You need to see it. I'm so sorry. Please don't let this get worse. I opened Instagram and immediately understood why my phone had exploded overnight. Shayla had posted a screen recording of our video call from the night before. The entire conversation where Emily had talked about settling for me, needing a real man, and wanting someone who could throw her around. The video had been viewed 2.3 million times in 12 hours. The comments were brutal. This is why men have trust issues. Imagine working your ass off for someone who talks about you like this. Short King deserves better. Emily really said, I'm settling on speakerphone. I can't. My phone rang. Jason. Bro, are you okay? He asked as soon as I picked up. I'm fine. You're viral, man. That video is everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Reddit. Someone even made a remix of Emily saying, I'm just settling with a beat behind it. I pulled up Twitter and saw that hashtag settling for Nick was trending. The video had spread across every platform, and the internet had done what the internet does, turned my humiliation into entertainment. But something strange was happening. Instead of mocking me, most of the comments were supportive. People were calling Emily shallow, praising me for standing up for myself, and sharing their own stories of partners who'd made them feel inadequate. My phone rang again. Emily. Nick, you have to help me, she said as soon as I answered. People are sending me death threats. They're calling my gym, leaving 1-star reviews. Someone found my address and posted it online. That's what happens when you humiliate someone publicly, I said. Although technically you did this to yourself. I didn't post that video. But you recorded that voice memo. You planned this. I recorded a voice memo for my own records. Shayla's the one who decided to share your conversation with the world. I sipped my coffee, surprised by how calm I felt. Maybe you should call her. She's not answering her phone. None of them are. Kendra blocked me, and Elise is pretending like she doesn't know me. Sounds familiar. What's that supposed to mean? It means you're learning what it feels like when people abandon you. I walked to my floor-to-ceiling windows and looked out at the city. How's the trailer? Emily was quiet for a long moment. Marcus says I can't stay here much longer. His neighbors are complaining about the media attention. Someone from TMZ showed up this morning. TMZ? Apparently some celebrity retweeted the video. Now it's a whole thing about toxic relationships and height discrimination. Her voice broke. Nick, I lost 3 clients yesterday. My Instagram is getting flooded with hate comments. I might have to shut down my business. I felt a flicker of something. Not quite sympathy, but not satisfaction either. Emily, you said those things on camera, to your friends, about your husband. What did you think would happen? I thought it was private. Nothing's private when you're talking about betraying someone's trust. I paused. I have to go. I have a client call. Wait, can I at least get some of my things? I forgot my chargers, and I need my good camera for content creation. Your content creation career might be on hold for a while. After I hung up, I sat in my home office and tried to process what was happening. In less than 24 hours, my private humiliation had become a public spectacle. My wife had become an internet villain, and I had somehow become a symbol of wronged husbands everywhere. My laptop chimed with an email from my biggest client. Saw the news, hope you're doing okay, looking forward to working with someone who clearly knows his worth. Another email from a potential client I'd been courting for months. If you can handle this situation with such class, I trust you can handle our project. Let's talk. My phone buzzed with a text from a number I didn't recognize. Saw your story online. You deserve better, King. Here's what I know about Marcus. The message included a link to an OnlyFans account and several screenshots of financial records. Apparently, Marcus wasn't just a fitness influencer. He was also deeply in debt, behind on his trailer rent, and supplementing his income in ways that would definitely violate Emily's moral standards. I stared at the information for a long time, then saved the screenshots to a folder on my desktop labeled Insurance. My phone rang again. This time it was Mrs. Lopez, the building's head concierge. Mr. Travers, I hope you don't mind me calling. I wanted you to know that several reporters have been asking about you and Mrs. Travers. I told them we don't comment on residents' private lives. Thank you, Mrs. Lopez. Also, she continued, her voice dropping to a whisper, I want you to know that everyone here is on your side. We all saw how hard you worked, how much you provided for her. She never even said hello to the staff. After I hung up, I realized something had shifted. The humiliation was transforming into something else, a kind of power I'd never had before. For the first time in my marriage, people were seeing Emily for who she really was, and they were seeing me as someone worth defending. My phone buzzed with another text from Emily. I'm coming to get my things whether you like it or not. Marcus is driving me over. I smiled and typed back, the locks have been changed. Building security has your photo. Have a nice day. Then I ordered a custom Lego set online, a miniature replica of my penthouse building. Rush delivery. Jason showed up at my door the next morning with coffee and donuts, looking like he was ready for a stakeout, which, as it turned out, he was. Okay, brother, he said, spreading printouts across my kitchen island. I did some digging on your wife's new boyfriend, and you're going to want to see this. Jason worked in construction, but had a side hobby of what he called digital archaeology. Basically, he was really good at finding dirt on people through social media and public records. It was a skill that had come in handy during his own messy divorce 2 years earlier. First, he said, pulling up Marcus's Instagram on his phone, this guy is not what he seems. Look at these posts about his successful fitness empire and his multiple income streams. I scrolled through Marcus's feed. Shirtless gym photos, motivational quotes, overlaid on sunset backgrounds, pictures of protein supplements and workout equipment. His bio claimed he was a CEO/entrepreneur/fitness coach with 6 figures in passive income. Now look at this, Jason said, sliding a printed credit report across the counter. Dude's got $17,000 in credit card debt. He's 3 months behind on his trailer rent, and his truck is about to be repossessed. How did you get his credit report? I didn't, but I have a friend who works at the bank, where he applied for a loan last month. Public record, once it goes to collections. Jason grinned. Also, remember that OnlyFans link someone sent you? I did some more digging. He showed me screenshots of Marcus's account. Not just the standard fitness content, but explicit videos with multiple women, including some I recognized from Emily's gym. The account was making decent money, but Jason had also found evidence that Marcus was using the platform to blackmail some of his clients. This gets better, Jason continued. I followed him yesterday. Don't look at me like that, I was careful. He's not just cheating on Emily with random women. He's running a whole operation, selling steroids out of his truck, filming content with married women, and threatening to expose them if they don't pay him. The works. Jason, this is illegal? Yeah. But here's the thing. Emily knows about at least some of it. He pulled out his phone and showed me a series of Instagram stories that Emily had posted, and then quickly deleted. I screenshot these before she took them down. Look. The stories showed Emily at Marcus's trailer, but in the background of one photo, you could clearly see bags of what looked like steroids on his kitchen counter. In another, there was a ring light and camera setup that was obviously for adult content creation. She's not just staying with this guy, Jason said. She's helping him with his business. The question is, how much does she know about the illegal stuff? I stared at the evidence spread across my counter. 24 hours ago, I'd thought my biggest problem was an unfaithful wife who was embarrassed by my height. Now, I was looking at evidence that she might be involved in drug dealing and blackmail. There's more, Jason said quietly. I think they were planning to scam you. He showed me a series of screenshots from a private Facebook group called Fitness Industry Networking. Marcus had posted about landing a big fish and getting access to serious money through a tech consultant boyfriend. The posts were from 3 months ago, long before Emily had supposedly met Marcus through her gym. They've been planning this, I said, the pieces falling into place. The collaboration videos, the workout sessions, all of it. Gets worse, look at this. Jason pulled up Emily's phone records, another friend with access to information he probably shouldn't have had. She's been calling Marcus for 4 months, way before she claims they met. And look at the call duration. The records showed calls lasting hours, often late at night when I was working or traveling. While I was building my business and planning our future, Emily had been planning my downfall. My phone buzzed with a text from Emily. I'm sorry about how things happened, but I need access to our joint account. I can't even buy food. I showed the text to Jason, who laughed. She's still trying to manipulate you. Classic. I typed back, the account was closed yesterday. All funds transferred to my personal account. You'll need to discuss financial support with your lawyer. Her response was immediate. What lawyer? I can't afford a lawyer. Maybe Marcus can help you with that, I replied. I hear he has multiple income streams. Jason was already pulling up more information on his laptop. Speaking of lawyers, you might want to document all of this. If she tries to come after you for alimony or a share of your business, this evidence could be useful. What do you mean? Adultery, fraud, conspiracy, take your pick. In Illinois, if you can prove your spouse was planning to defraud you or was involved in illegal activities, it affects how assets get divided. Jason had learned a lot about divorce law during his own proceedings. Plus, if she was helping Marcus with his blackmail operation, she could be facing criminal charges. I walked to my window and looked out at the city. Somewhere out there, Emily was probably sitting in Marcus's trailer, surrounded by the reality of the life she'd chosen. No marble countertops, no designer workout equipment, no penthouse view. Just a rusted trailer and a lot full of people who were now staring at her because she'd become an internet meme. What are you thinking? Jason asked. I'm thinking, I said slowly, that Emily wanted a different kind of man, someone more exciting, more dangerous. Well, she got what she wanted. My phone rang. Unknown number. Is this Nick Travers? The voice was female, nervous. Who's asking? My name is Jessica. I saw the video online about your wife. I think I need to tell you something about Marcus. I put the call on speaker so Jason could hear. He's been blackmailing me, Jessica continued. I hired him as a personal trainer 6 months ago, and he convinced me to do some photos for his fitness website. Then, he said the photos were too revealing, and he'd have to tell my husband unless I paid him $5,000. Jason and I looked at each other. How many other women? I asked. I know of at least 6. We've been trying to figure out what to do, but we're all married, and we can't risk our families finding out. Jessica's voice was shaking. When I saw what happened to you, I realized that maybe you could help us, and maybe we could help you. What do you mean? I mean your wife knows about what he's doing. She's the one who suggested I do the photos in the first place. She said it would help my confidence. I closed my eyes. Emily hadn't just cheated on me and humiliated me publicly. She'd been actively participating in Marcus's criminal enterprise, using her position as a personal trainer to recruit victims. Jessica, I said, I think we need to meet. The meeting with Jessica and three other women took place at a coffee shop downtown the next afternoon. What I learned made my stomach turn and my resolve harden into something unbreakable. Marcus and Emily had been running a sophisticated operation. Emily would identify potential targets, wealthy, married women with self-esteem issues who hired her as a personal trainer. She'd build their trust, then suggest they work with Marcus for specialized training that would help them feel more confident about their bodies. Marcus would push for increasingly revealing photos and videos, claiming they were for progress tracking or motivational content. Once he had compromising material, the blackmail would begin. Emily was always so supportive, said Maria, a 42-year-old mother of three whose husband owned a successful restaurant chain. She made me feel like I deserved to do something just for myself. When she introduced me to Marcus, she said he could help me feel sexy again. She's very good at reading people, added Jessica. She knew exactly what to say to make us trust her. The women had been paying Marcus between $3,000 and $8,000 each to keep their photos private. Over 6 months, he'd collected over $40,000 in blackmail money, with Emily taking a 30% cut. We tried to go to the police, said the third woman, Sarah, but Marcus said he had lawyers who would make our lives hell if we caused trouble. He said he'd release everything online and send copies to our husband's employers. That's when we saw the video of your wife, Marie explained, and we realized that maybe she's not as smart as she thinks she is. I left the coffee shop with a folder full of evidence, bank records, screenshots of threatening messages, and signed statements from all four women. Jason was waiting in his truck outside. How bad? He asked. Worse than we thought. I handed him the folder. They've been running this scam for months. Emily's been the recruiter. So what's the plan? I pulled out my phone and scrolled to Marcus's Instagram. He'd just posted a story showing him and Emily at an upscale gym across town. Apparently, they were trying to rebuild their image by being seen at a more prestigious location. The plan, I said, is to give Emily exactly what she wanted. An hour later, we were parked outside Platinum Fitness, watching Marcus pose for Emily's Instagram stories. Even from across the parking lot, I could see him flexing and posturing while Emily held her phone at various angles. There, Jason said, pointing to Marcus's truck. He left it unlocked. While Jason kept watch, I approached the truck and planted a small GPS tracker under the rear bumper. Completely legal since I wasn't law enforcement and the truck was in a public place. I also took photos of the interior, which was littered with unmarked pill bottles and what looked like steroids. But the real prize was Marcus's gym bag, which he'd left in the back seat. Inside, I found his phone charger, his wallet with several fake IDs, and a notebook full of names, phone numbers, and dollar amounts. It was a ledger of his blackmail operation, written in his own handwriting. I photographed every page, then put everything back exactly as I'd found it. We need to go, Jason whispered. They're coming out. We drove to a parking garage a few blocks away and reviewed the photos. The notebook contained names, addresses, and detailed notes about each victim's vulnerabilities. Next to Emily's name, Marcus had written, wife, inside access to bank accounts and business info. He's not just blackmailing random women, I realized. He was planning to rob me. Jason nodded grimly. Question is, how much does Emily know about that part? We didn't have to wait long to find out. The GPS tracker showed Marcus's truck heading back to the trailer park, and Jason's contact at the phone company confirmed that Emily had been making calls to several banks, asking about procedures for accessing joint accounts and business assets. She's been researching how to clean you out, Jason said, probably planning to disappear with Marcus once they got their hands on your money. That evening, I sat in my penthouse, looking out at the city lights, and made a decision. Emily had wanted excitement, danger, a man who was willing to take risks. She'd gotten exactly that, but now she was about to learn that actions have consequences. I opened my laptop and began typing an email to Detective Sarah Morrison, whom I'd found through the women's group. She specialized in financial crimes and had been building a case against several blackmail operations in the city. The email contained everything: the photos from Marcus's truck, the ledger pages, the bank records showing the blackmail payments, and the signed statements from the four women. I also included Emily's phone records and the evidence of her research into accessing my accounts. Before I sent it, I called Emily. "Nick," she answered on the first ring. "I'm so glad you called. I've been thinking about everything, and I realize I made a huge mistake. Marcus isn't who I thought he was." "Really? What gave it away? The steroids or the blackmail operation?" The line went quiet. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said finally. "Emily, I know about Jessica, Maria, Sarah, and the others. I know about the photos, the money, all of it. Nick, I swear I didn't know." "You recruited them. You took a cut of the money. You researched how to steal from my bank accounts." My voice was calm, but my hands were shaking with anger. "You didn't just cheat on me, Emily. You conspired to rob me." "It wasn't like that. Marcus said it was just fitness modeling, and the money was for training fees." "Stop lying." I pulled up the photos of Marcus's ledger on my computer. I have everything in writing, in his handwriting, including the notes about getting access to my business accounts through you. Emily started crying. "Nick, please. I'm in over my head here. He's not a good person. I'm scared of him." "You should be scared," I said, "but not of him." "What do you mean?" "I mean, I just sent everything to the police. Detective Morrison will probably want to talk to you tomorrow." The crying stopped abruptly. "You called the police?" "Emily, you're part of a criminal conspiracy. Did you think there wouldn't be consequences?" "But I'm your wife." "No," I said quietly. "You're a stranger who's been living in my house and planning to rob me. My wife died the night I heard you tell your friends you were settling for me." I hung up and hit send on the email to Detective Morrison. My phone immediately started buzzing with calls from Emily, but I turned it off and poured myself a glass of the champagne I'd brought home from Seattle, the bottle that had started all of this. Outside my windows, the city sparkled in the darkness, full of possibilities I was only beginning to imagine. Detective Morrison called me at 7 a.m. the next morning. "Mr. Travers, I've reviewed the evidence you sent. This is exactly what we needed to move forward with charges against Marcus Doyle. We've been investigating him for months, but we couldn't get victims to come forward. What about Emily? We'll need to interview her, but based on the evidence, she's definitely facing charges. Conspiracy, fraud, possibly racketeering, depending on how deep this goes." Morrison paused. "Can you come in today to give a formal statement?" "Of course. And Mr. Travers, you might want to secure your assets. If your wife has access to any accounts, you should freeze them immediately." After I hung up, I called my lawyer, my bank, and my business accountant. Within 2 hours, Emily was locked out of everything: bank accounts, credit cards, even the Netflix password. I also changed all the locks on the penthouse and informed building security that she was no longer a resident. Jason arrived with coffee and the morning's entertainment: screenshots of Emily's increasingly frantic social media posts. "She's having a complete meltdown," he said, showing me her Instagram stories. "Look at this." Emily had posted a series of videos from Marcus's trailer, tearfully explaining that she was the victim of a coordinated attack by her abusive husband and asking for donations to help her escape a dangerous situation. "The comments are brutal," Jason said, scrolling through the responses. "Nobody's buying it." Someone even posted screenshots of the blackmail messages. "How did those get out?" "One of the victims, Jessica, I think, decided to go public after she heard you'd called the cops. She posted everything on Twitter with the hashtag #ExposeEmily. I pulled up Twitter and saw that hashtag #ExposeEmily was trending worldwide. Jessica had posted a detailed thread exposing the entire blackmail operation, complete with screenshots of Emily's messages recruiting her and Marcus's subsequent threats. The story had been picked up by major news outlets. CNN was running a segment called "The Instagram Influencer Blackmail Scandal." The New York Post's headline read, "Settling for Crime, Viral Wife's Dark Secret." My phone rang. "Emily." "Nick, you have to help me," she sobbed. "The police are here. They want to arrest me." "Then you should probably cooperate with them. Please, I'll do anything. I'll sign a prenup. I'll give up all claim to your money. I'll disappear forever. Just make this stop." "Emily, I can't make this stop. You committed crimes. Multiple felonies. This is out of my hands now. But I only did it because Marcus made me. I was scared of him." I looked out my window at the city below, where somewhere Emily was about to be arrested for conspiracy and fraud. You weren't scared of him when you were counting your share of the blackmail money. You weren't scared when you were researching how to steal from my accounts. I never would have actually taken your money. The police have records of you calling banks, Emily. You were planning to clean out our accounts and disappear with Marcus. The only reason you didn't is because I caught you first. The line went quiet except for her crying. I loved you, I said finally. I would have given you anything you wanted. All you had to do was ask. I know, I'm sorry, I'm so sorry. No, you're not sorry you did it. You're sorry you got caught. I paused. Good luck with the lawyers, Emily. You're going to need them. I hung up and blocked her number. An hour later, Jason called with an update from his contact at the police department. Emily and Marcus had both been arrested. Marcus was charged with multiple counts of blackmail, extortion, and drug possession. Emily was charged with conspiracy, fraud, and being an accessory to extortion. Bail's set at $50,000 each, Jason reported. Marcus's family won't help him, and Emily's parents are refusing to post bail until they understand what's happening. What about the trailer? Landlords evicting them. All their stuff is going to be put on the street tomorrow. That evening, I drove to the trailer park with a camera. I wanted to see.